Extra, extra, read all about it. Diversion in our government. When equality becomes a whisper, what does corporate America hear? Welcome back to Passionate World Talk Radio Network, a wholly owned subsidiary of Global Media Network LLC. And today we are speaking about the diversity in our government that has been made by our current administration, Mr. President. The current administration focuses on eliminating diversity, equity, and inclusion, the DEI programs that have led to a significant number of diversions within corporate America. This shift was driven by executive orders by our current president, federal guidance on expanded oversight of contractors and grant recipients. Companies are recalibrating their DEI strategies and messaging to navigate the new realities and equal rights. So, what does this include? Inclusion by design, systems that integrate inclusion into organizations' processes, reducing reliance after the fact interventions. Algorithmic bias checks, adoption of audits and fairness reviews to ensure responsible DEI practices. Quiet commitment, strategy, not performative approaches to DEI, focusing on inclusive leadership behaviors and product decisions. Reframing representation, shifting focus towards merit-based hiring and restructuring employee resource groups. Aligning corporate philanthropy, aligning DEI funding with business priorities. These trends reflect a districting away from explicitly racial or DEI branded terms to mitigate legal exposure and reputational risk. The landscape for corporate DEI has shifted markedly, with companies adapting by refining how they present these initiatives in public communications and filings. Case in point, colleges and universities are no longer allowed to bring in candidates and judge them on their skin color, nationality, because if they can't get in by their test scores, then they shouldn't be permitted to come in. Students, especially if they're from the countries in which this country, America, is at war with, or having a disagreement with, or the president's decided that these are dangerous countries for these students to be attending our colleges, then they should not be allowed, A, to come into the college or university, and B, protest. Because if they're caught protesting, they will be arrested. These and other type of diversities are splitting how the U.S. government and Mr. President now looks at what is available to people coming in from overseas. And thus we have these diversities. So the United States is no longer united. And from Hamlet, though this be madness, yet there's a method in it. Thank you very much for joining us in this special report a diversity within our American government.